Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. My name is Fizz. We're gonna go over the Genesis new stuff, but before we start, make sure you remember that this is all on the Afterlife stream, so check it out. Link description down below if you want to help the cause, save the children. Also, if you want to just watch the stream, link description down below, but I'm pretty sure the stream will be over by the time this video comes out. But yes, we're going to be talking about the fishing net and the mining drill, so I'm going to let the clip of the fishing net first go, then I'm going to talk about it, and then we'll let the devs talk about the mining drill, and then I'll talk about it. So let's go to the live stream, shall we?
I love that one.
Do you?
Yeah, it's adorable.
Is it? I like your description of adorable.
Well, they did an awesome setup and how to show off the benefits of the fishing net.
So we can swap to the concept art.
So this is our fishing net. We always want to make sure we have something for primitive players, for the lower scale players. We want to add something new to the early game. And one of the problems with the fishing pole is that it's very difficult to use without a chair, without somewhere safe to place a chair down, and then getting bait is very difficult. And it's more of a mid-game fishing item or fish-related item because you're getting loot from it too. Right. It's not the greatest loot, it's not the best loot that you can get in the game, but it's definitely good loot. And you need, hard to get items for that bait. So the fishing net serves the purpose of the primitive player being able to get an easy access to meat. So anywhere you have fish, this becomes a great way to get fish meat. All you have to do is stand still in one place. You do a wind up, and then you throw it out. It looks pretty awesome.
No, it does.
As it spreads out, splashes in the water, and then as it's falling down, any fish that get trapped in that net will get caught. And then as soon as you start to pull in, the net closes, the fish are trapped. And the more fish you have, the more they'll actually start fighting back. So if you get a big load with a lot of fish, it actually becomes a difficult thing to do. You're pulling it back in and struggling, and they'll be taken back off in the water. Here we go again for everyone the second look. This is a funny trailer, and it's so much better with sound. You guys haven't heard the sounds of Genesis yet, I don't think, but yeah. We don't hear the sounds. The stream does, obviously, but when you hear the trailers with sound, it definitely sets the tone in a good way. But this is our fishing net, and then once you pull in the fish, it'll, based on how many fish you caught, how big they were, it'll give you a bunch of meat back in return. Nice. So then you can go out and get all your harvestable meat. It makes early game running around in those dangerous sub-shallow waters a lot more fun and exciting to do. And you can throw this from anywhere as long as you're just standing still, and then reel it back in, and you got a bunch of fish.
Yeah, I can see this very useful in the early game. It's not, at least from what I remember back in the day when early game for me, for ARK, it was not as easy to get meat in the very early game. It wasn't necessarily easy to find a bunch of meat to do things. So if this is placed, like you were saying, in the earlier game for earlier players, I can see this being very useful to get a good amount of meat, to sustain you or your dinos or whatever. It's a cool item. I like it a lot. There's even some RP stuff with it that you could do. RP communities, I can see using this. I'm just a fan of any primitive stuff like this. I love primitive items.
Weighted.
I wonder why.
Weighted opinion.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
Bias.
So I love items like this and the pressure plate or the primitive pressure plate. Like those things, I love them. I would love a game full of them. Weird.
Yeah. So where can you use these?
You can use it anywhere where you're above the water, as long as you're throwing it into the water, or up to about knee height on the player.
Okay.
You can also throw it off a raft, anywhere that you can see fish that are within reasonable size of this net.
And just to be clear, you are actually catching fish here. This isn't like some magic trick where a fish appears underwater and you magically have it in your net.
They have to be there for you to catch them.
Good, gotcha. Just want to clear that up. There are different approaches to doing that, so it is good to know that there have to be fish there in order for you to catch them.
All right, so the fishing net. So we've talked about this a couple weeks ago, actually a couple months ago, when we first saw the initial, I think was one of the dev streams, and they accidentally leaked this entire slide right here that we're looking at right now. So it's not surprised that we're actually getting it. A lot of people thought it was actually not going to be even for this game. It's going to be for Atlas, but luckily we are actually getting it because Atlas is a sunken ship. Anyways, enough about that. This is honestly really cool and very interesting, and it does bring up a lot of things that, why do we need to fish, right? Like, if you think about it right now, in game, why we don't use fish that much for anything now, do we? Now, granted, there is some fish creatures, so what if there is going to be some other fishing, like maybe there's like another bonus of actually fishing that they haven't said, right? So like right now, what do you do with a fishing rod, right? You sit down on your chair because you have to, and then you throw it out and you fish from blueprints, right? That's what most people do. Most of the time, it's not very rewarding or honestly even that good because you have to hit the little keys and you sometimes don't even get anything good because then you have to get a better fishing rod, which then they blah blah blah. So I'm wondering if there's going to be another catch with the fishing that they didn't actually say about it being more of an improvement, right? Because early game, you just kill dodos for meat and food, so why would you want to make this and go fishing, right? I don't know, maybe it is just an expanding on the beginning games of we don't actually do this in beginning games. Like if you think about it right now, when do you fish in ARK? If you play on a series, right? Like for me, I usually fish at like end game because it's just for fun. I never fish in beginning or anything around revolving around any of that. So maybe they're trying to cater to more beginner game experiences, right? Because if you think about it right now, beginning game of ARK is very tedious and very hellish, right? You die a lot, you lose a lot of stuff, you lose lots of tames, and it's not very rewarding because, well, it's very harsh sometimes. So what if they're trying to make it so that, you know, it gives you some benefits? I don't know. What is your thoughts about the fishing thing? I personally, I love it, and I will be trying when I do my survival series to use it a lot in the beginning to see if it actually does benefit me for actually survival. Who knows? Maybe Genesis Simulation is going to be such a hellhole that I am going to need to fish to even survive. Imagine that if they didn't have anything like shoulder pet related, like small creatures like dodos or anything, but you have to fish for the beginning foods. That would be very interesting, and I would like to see that. But anyways, let's move on to the mining drill, and I'll play the clip first of them talking about it, and then we'll talk about it after.
So let's start it off. Let's show them the next thing, and this is the mining drill. Woo! As we said, we're filling out the tech tiers. We've done primitive. We've definitely done tech with the cruise missile, and this is the mining drill. This is our machine tier. This is going to be a super harvester that will empower the player to be able to harvest whatever they want. It's an equipable tool that will rapidly harvest resources in front of the player who is using it. By pressing and holding the fire button, the mining drill will use gasoline, similar to the flamethrower, and it'll be able to harvest rocks, trees, corpses, crystals.
Pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much everything. It is a impressive laser, and it is also gasoline powered. So it's an affordable, high-tech item that gets you a lot. As you keep using it, it'll start overheating, and overheating will hit a phase where it forces it to cool down. You'll actually take a little bit of a durability hit. So part of the harvesting mechanic of this thing is just maintaining that heat level,
Gotcha.
Not going too high, not letting it go overboard, and then if you use it on players or dinos, it'll actually apply a similar effect to the flashbang. So it's even effective in PvP if you want to use it that way, or just for trolling your friends, which is more common, the more common use case of any of these things. And it's a significantly capable harvesting component. Nothing will ever beat breeding dinos for harvesting, getting a bunch of weight in their stats, having a high melee dino that specifically is great at mining metal. They're always going to be the king of harvesting for that specific item, but this is a great filler item for people that have trouble bringing around dinos, harvesting all over the map or anything like that. You can just take a heavy weight carrying dino and jump off, use this to harvest, and then head back on home or head back around. So again, we're filling out as many of the core aspects of the game, and it's not all late game this time around. We're trying to expand the experience from A to B as much as possible and just increase what people can do in those different tiers.
I just want to be interesting because I know people have very specific harvesting runs that they do for specific materials, you know, and this will definitely, I think, change a little bit of that meta as far as the way that people harvest. It has the potential to, at least.
It's evolved significantly over time.
Yeah.
And it's changed quite a bit in some ways, and then other ways it's very, very similar. But a lot of the times you'll see some form of a Quetz with a platform saddle and a nice little ramp, and then an Ankylo or a Doed sitting on the front, just hitting away at rocks. And hopefully this gets another way to do something similar, probably, because you got to get a bunch of a bunch of materials in our game. That's just part of the game. But hopefully this gives them a new way.
Not when you're on 8X.
Yeah, not when you're on 8X. So, yeah, right now they're like harvesting. We don't care about that.
Who cares?
We've got more than we'll ever know what to do with. It's the bounty times. But this is a fun tool for players to play with. It's exciting. It's very well designed too. The mechanics of how it works and what it does look very, very, very well done.
What is the actual last harvesting tool we added before? Like, what was the last one before this? Was it the scythe or the sickle or the? I think that was like the last harvesting tool before this.
That can't be. The sickle. That was so long ago.
A harvesting tool. Like, I can't think of anything after that.
I mean, in a way, the whip harvest. Chainsaw. I see chainsaw.
Okay. All right, you got me.
Chainsaw.
You got me. They know better than me. All right. But that was still a little while ago too. I mean,
that was scorched.
Yeah.
That was scorched earth.
Yeah.
And then aberration. I don't think we had any harvesting tools.
Extinction. No. Yeah. So this has been.
We had the gas bags as a harvest carrier, a resource carrier.
Yes.
To help delivering resources back and forth. I see some person. You're the devs and you don't even know. Yeah, it's our game is so big that it's very hard to keep it all in mind for us.
I don't know why people think that's hard to understand. Like, you come work and you work on a specific thing at a company, you're not going to know the 200 dinos that it has if you only worked on 3 of them. You know, like, it's hard to know every single piece of content that's in a company when you have a limited scope of the things that you're working on. You know what I'm saying? So it's very normal, I think.
Yeah, it's fun watching people play the game too, as they have been very, very focused on very specific aspects of it, whether it's trees or how all of it's laid out and joined together, or the programming side of it, or the art side of it, or a particle side of it. And as they learn the game from all those different perspectives, it's quite enjoyable.
No, it is.
We very rarely get time to step away and just play.
Yeah, back when Extinction come out.
Alright, and now we are at the mining drill. Now this thing is very cool, and by the way, I think the pickaxe, the climbing pick, actually can harvest things, so that is the last harvesting tool, which was Aberration, by the way. Developers, I'm pretty sure. Even though it's not considered a harvest tool, it does consider it's on your hands, and I'm pretty sure you can harvest with it, if I remember correctly. But anyways, this is really cool. This concept is amazing, and the design. Look at it with the 2 mirrors. Oh, I don't know. I absolutely love this. This is super like fantasy. I would never even imagine something like this. Now, granted, how OP is this going to be? Honestly, who cares? It's just going to be fun. I think it's going to be so. Like right now, if you think about it, right, the chainsaw. Use this a lot for high, like if you have a if you ever played on a, like very high rates of servers, you know the chainsaw is damn well broken, because being able to get a crap ton of meat, a mutton, high piled, like all that kind of stuff, like wood, it's insane. So now basically just think of that but reversed for this, for stone, metal, crystal, you know, gems. Like this thing is going to be phenomenal and amazing. Now I want to know if it's going to be some sort of way that you kill people, right? So in the chainsaw way, you can just chainsaw people like in Gears of War. So this is a laser, so we'll be able to laser people to death? I don't know, that'd be kind of interesting for PvP or just for some fun shenanigans with the trimates. But this is a great addition. I'm super happy that they're actually adding this. And it also looks like it's got a little vacuum thing on this. Like, it looks like it's got a whole vacuum thing right here that sucks it up and puts it in there. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? That's just my speculation and everything. But I personally am fond about this, and I'm really excited about this. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, follow. Make sure you check out the extra life link in the description down below for all the information about donating for the kids. Also, the dev live stream will also be there as well. And thank you guys so much for watching. I would love to hear your comments and down below, and please share the video if you enjoyed it, because it will help the channel grow. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed.